Alright, what's up? What's going on, guys? CaptainMonk here. In today's video, as you can see on screen, we're doing the 200k special. So, welcome to the video first and foremost, and I do apologize for the massive amount of delays in this video. I'll dive into the reasoning behind all of that once we get into the actual gameplay and the Q&A and all that. But for the time being, let's focus on the giveaway. So, as you guys can see on screen, we're doing an RP code giveaway. Actually, 5 giveaways in total, 2 for North America, and then one for the other 3. So, Europe West, having one, of course, one for Europe Nordic and East, and then another one for Oceanic. And of course, if your region is not listed there, I do apologize sincerely. I did what I could to include as many regions as I could, but some complications came up, one of which being, I think it's called Garena for the C server, Southeast Asia, of course, that being, so like the Philippines, Vietnam, Taiwan, those areas. So I do apologize that I couldn't include everybody in this, but I did my best, because of course with RP codes, you cannot just get a bunch of codes for all over the world just here in North America where I'm from. I had to get North American codes myself, and then speak to some other people to be a bit of a middleman between the codes for other regions and myself. So that's kind of where you guys came in if you guys were checking out my Facebook and Twitter posts. So thanks again for all those who did help out, and even those who didn't but tried. I do appreciate all you guys, so thank you once again. And so for those of you who this giveaway does affect, here are what you have to do. All you have to do to be a part of this is subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and like the video. Step 2 is just comment below either NA, EUW, EUNE, or of course OCE. And the reason I'm specifying the letters instead of the region it's from or what it means is because make sure you put in the actual letters. So for North America, don't type in North America. That'll accomplish nothing. Type in NA, because what I'm going to do once I get about, I think, a week after this video is posted, is I will then go through all the comments and all that, and I'll just search for all the comments featuring, NA specifically. And then once I have that total number, I'll do a number generator based on that number and pick some winners that way. So, of course, if you just type in North America, you won't show up, you won't win. And of course, that applies to the other regions as well. So, that's pretty much it here, guys. Thanks again for 200k. You guys have been awesome. We're another 100k past what I ever dreamed of. I still cannot believe that we've come this far. And here's to another 100k, maybe down the road. So, that's it here, guys. I'll see you guys in the rest of the video. Peace out. Alright, welcome back to the video here, guys. As you can see on screen, we're playing some Wukong in the jungle with the new Radiant skin, which I really wanted to wait for before this video because, honestly, this skin is so cool. I'm so psyched that they released this into the game. And, yeah, I just can't find the words. I mean, look at this. I'm riding a goddamn cloud. Like, how cool is that? Like, I mean, Nimbus Strike uses clouds, but now I can ride one like a skateboard. I mean, how freaking cool is that? Or I guess in this case, a hoverboard, which I'm excited to have one day. I don't know. Maybe we won't have a hoverboard. People say we have hoverboards, but we really don't. But anyways, we're playing some Wukong in the jungle. You guys can see the runes and masteries and all that stuff I have in the description below. You can also see the starting items I've rolled with. The Hunter's Talisman is actually really underrated. A lot of people go with the Hunter's Machete. I don't recommend you do so. But anyways, I just wanted to introduce the gameplay a little bit here, guys. I will not be talking about it very much. If there's a really big highlight, maybe I'll point it out. But other than that, I'll probably be focusing on the Q&A. But before I get into the Q&A here, though, guys, I do want to first off apologize massively for all of the different delays that caused this video to be released today instead of course, much sooner. One of which being poor play on my part. I thought the Radiant skin for Wukong was coming out sooner, so I had people thinking the video was coming out sooner as well, which was of course not the case. And then the other reason for this video being delayed massively was, well, I had my wisdom teeth removed a few weeks ago, and that was a lot more traumatic than I expected. I mean, the whole operation was fine, having the healing process was fine, but there were several instances where I was in the hospital again because I had excessive bleeding that wouldn't stop on the right side, and the left side had a cavity in which the food gets stuck and I just couldn't remove it for the life of me, so I had to go back to have that surgically remove it. So yeah, not a fun time. And of course, the last thing that's, I mean, it's still an excuse or a reason, but I'm not very proud of this one, was just because I missed all that school because of the wisdom teeth, I ended up having to catch up on that last week of January. And that last week of January was crazy. 5 tests, a presentation, like 3 or 4 essays. I mean, it was nuts. There was just no time for any enjoyment whatsoever. But we're past that now. Here's the video here, guys. Hope you guys understand why it took me so long to get this video out. And let's dive right into the questions. So, question number 1 here comes from, I'm sorry if I pronounce this wrong, but I'm going to try, Liang Wei Meng. And the question is, Monk, what is going to happen to your Pokemon channel from now on? Are you going to give up on making more Pokemon videos? For the time being, I honestly have 0 plans for the Pokemon channel, and the reason for that is because Pokemon hasn't released anything. I could, of course, go back and play some of the past Pokemon games, Pokemon Yellow being my all-time favorite game. But at the same time, I mean, there's so many videos of those Pokemon games, so many playthroughs, and I don't feel like there's anything I could bring to the table with those videos. Whereas with newer Pokemon games, of course, whenever it's brand new, yeah, there are some channels that could bring the exact same thing that I could, but I could do it first, potentially, if it's a new game, of course. Whereas with all these other games, they've been out for so long, there's just no potential for that. So That's kind of why I haven't really done anything with the Pokemon channel. But the minute Pokemon, or Nintendo, I guess I should say, releases something exciting, I'll be all over up in that shit. So that's pretty much my 2 cents here. But of course, there is a minor exception if it's a really crappy game. I mean, Mystery Dungeon was one example. I'm not really a big fan of those games. I'm not saying they're crappy. I probably should have rephrased that, but I'm just not a huge fan of those games. So that's just me. But if it's a regular series Pokemon game or something similar to it that I like, then yeah, you can expect some content from me. Moving on here, the next question, it comes from Jerry Zhao, and he asks, who is your favorite LoL character? I mean, you're watching it, Wukong. This is a really common question I get a lot, and I figured, hey, I saw this question being asked. It's a pretty straightforward one. Thought I would get it out of the way right away so that you guys, well, I guess know. The next one we have here is from Jason Corilla. He asks, how did you come up with your username and get into League of Legends? So there's 2 questions there, actually. I'll answer the first one first, of course. How'd I get my username? This one's kind of a funny story. I mean, some people like it. Some people think it's not funny in the slightest. It really depends on your sense of humor. But back when I was in like grade school, like elementary school and all that, I don't know. I developed, I guess, a little bit of a thing for monkeys. Not like a sexual thing, but like I just really thought monkeys were cool. Like that was kind of like my favorite animal, right? I mean, that's pretty normal for a kid going through elementary school. And so I would do school projects on monkeys. I would pretend to be a monkey in the jungle gym, shit like that. And that got me a lot of flack amongst my classmates. But instead of being like, hey, don't make fun of me for liking monkeys, I was just like, yeah, dude, I love monkeys. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I'm fucking Captain Monkey, man. That's me. I'm the shit. Like, not exactly those words, but you kind of get the idea I'm trying to get across. And so I started rocking the name Captain Monkey, and eventually playing online games, I wasn't able to put that all in there because there wasn't enough space for Captain Monkey every single time, and that's a lot of letters there. So I ended up abbreviating it to Captain Monk, and been rolling with that ever since in a variety of different forums. I mean, if you look back at my past channels, I had like C-Monk, things like that. So Captain Monk, that's pretty much where it came from, and that's why I like monkeys, because I mean that's kind of always stayed true. So that's that question. The second part of your question is how I got into League. At the time that I got into League was like Season 2, so like July, I want to say, Season 2. And my friends were all playing, they all told me to play it. And at the time, I was pretty big into Call of Duty. I wasn't really playing much League at all. Any game of the sort, like no MOBAs at all. I tried it. I played Nunu. I would die, use my ult. No, sorry, wrong order. I would use my ult, then die. I'd respawn, I'd use my ult, then die, then respawn. Because I didn't know how like the game worked at all, and I just thought like, wow, I have like this blizzard and I do a lot of damage. Like that's kind of cool. So I just used that repeatedly. I was accomplishing nothing though, and I raged. So yeah, but that's pretty much how I got into League. I was terrible though. It took me quite a while to really get a grasp on the game, but once I did, I mean, you guys have seen how I've gotten better over the years. I mean, if you go back and see my videos from like Season 2, or actually, I didn't start doing videos until Season 3, so if you walk back to Season 3 to now, you'll see a massive increase in my, I guess, knowledge and abilities at the game. But moving on here, next question. Hi Adam, my Q&A question is, what is your favorite word? Least favorite? And this comes from, I'm guessing, Theodore, because there's no H in there, so Theodore Najdov. And yeah, my favorite word, I don't know. Probably the F word, honestly, just because it's so versatile. Like, I know it sounds pretty silly for me to say and pretty illiterate, but at the same time, it's like, that word is so versatile. You can use it in, like, any sentence. So, I'm just going to roll with that. Least favorite? Probably no. Like, that one syllable of just no, it's just like, alright. You just, like, ruined this conversation for me entirely. I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but I don't like that word. Anyways, moving on. Horsecraft asks, what do you think is the best champion in both character design and gameplay aspect? I think there's a lot of ways I could answer this question, and different pieces of information I could use to, I guess, kind of consider to answer this question. I'm going to go with Lee Sin for 2 reasons. Number one, he's basically never been reworked, and he's been out since Season 1. And there's like a decent amount of champions like that haven't been reworked since like way before the game even became like into seasons. But with that said, Lee Sin's pretty much always been relevant. Ever since his release, like, he's always been relevant. Competitive play, popularity, like, he's always been relevant. And he hasn't ever been considered, like, OP or anything like that. He's always just been consistently good. And, yeah, like, I think that's, like, a really well-designed champion. There's very few champions like that, if you ask me, so that's why I'm going with Lee Sin. Moving on, Prototype Box asks, if you could design a new character that could transform what they look like and do... Wait, what? If you could design a new character that could transform what they look like and do Q&A. Okay, that's like not a complete thought, but I think I know what he's saying. Essentially, I'm just going to answer the question as if the question was, if I could design a character that could transform and do all these things, what would I have them do? Honestly, I think Wukong's pretty damn close to the exact champion I would like to have in League of Legends. I mean, he's a monkey. He's like almost not exactly an assassin, but has assassin-like qualities. He has stealth. a lot of things I really like when I was playing Call of Duty back in the day. I mean, I was really into that whole stealth style where I just kind of sneak behind their team and pick people off. And that's pretty much what Assassin does in League of Legends anyway, so I really like that style. The difference is I would like to see Wukong, instead of having a staff, which I know goes back to the character's origins and all that, but instead of a staff monkey sort of thing, I'd love to see like a monkey that has like double sickles, right? And it's like climbs walls and shit and like jumps to people and stabs them kind of like Rengar does. I think that'd be super cool. And for an ultimate, I don't know, maybe something along the lines of what Rengar and Kha'Zix have me. I love those champions, but that's one thing that separates them from what Wukong is Wukong's ult is, of course, for team fighting, whereas theirs is for stealth and, like, picks, which I really like that style a bit more than Wukong's ult. But aside from that, I love Wukong's kit, so I think you guys kind of get the kind of character I'm kind of trying to, I guess, visually describe with my words. With imagery and all that. I think I'd be a really cool character, like a monkey with double sickles who has stealth, but like a little bit stronger stealth than Wukong's, and just like fucks shit up, like climbing walls and like chase people down and jumping on them and just fucking shit up. I don't know. I keep going like this because that's how I imagine the monkey doing it. It's just like stabbing the shit out of people with sickles. Anyways, moving on. Next question here we have comes from Gamers GFX and Gaming. If you could change anything in your life, what would it be? All right. Well, honestly, my life's pretty damn awesome. Like, I like my life quite a lot, and I know that's not what most people want to hear or most people think about their own life, but I'm actually pretty damn happy with that, and I think that's interesting. Look at me dime this Wukong, oh, not this Wukong, this Mundo. I think I do that a few times this game, and eventually at some point I do survive, but minor spoiler. But anyways, I think the one thing I would change in my life though is I think I would like to be able to grow facial hair. That's the one thing I'd like to change, I think, because I cannot grow a beard. Like, I still have freaking whiskers and all that. I mean, they get long, but they're like colorless. They're clear. So they look really damn gross. So yeah, luckily before this recording, of course, I shaved. But yeah, I'd like to be able to grow like an actual beard. I think that'd be so cool. Anyways, moving on. Arthur asks, question for the Q&A. What is your favorite and least favorite champion to play against? Favorite champion to play against, I really don't know. Probably some squishy immobile AD carry, because I like to play assassins and champions who can just blow people up. So if it's an immobile AD carry who just dies as soon as someone's on top of them, I love playing against that. Champion I dislike playing against the most would probably be LeBlanc, because I'm supposed to be a jungle main, of course. And when LeBlanc's in the mid lane, I mean, she's a huge threat to whoever she's laning against, so I have to put attention there. But at the same time, LeBlanc is so difficult to gank, and I can't stand that. So I really hate playing against LeBlanc. She's by far my least favorite champion to play against. Next one here, Andrew Cross asks, what champs do you main? What is your favorite champion? Also love your videos, and keep it up. Okay, so I already answered my favorite champion is, so I'll just ignore that part. But what other champions I like to play? I love playing Zed in the mid lane, love playing Fizz in the mid lane. I love playing, of course, Rengar and Kha'Zix, like I mentioned earlier. When it comes to top lane, I don't mind Renekton. Jax is pretty fun. Of course, Wukong, I mentioned that earlier, both in the jungle and top lane. But top lane, Wukong's kind of poopy, because if he falls behind, he doesn't really have an escape. I mean, he has that stealth, but how good's the stealth, really? Not great. And that ult was just such a waste. I thought he would die a lot less quickly, so my mistake there. And I think I get killed here because, yeah, I'm way too low at this point. I get wrecked. But yeah, that's pretty much like my arsenal of champions I love to play. Oh yeah, and Rek'Sai. I forgot to mention Rek'Sai. Next question here comes from Wessel, and he asks a lol question. If you could choose one deleted item to return to the shop, which would it be? Without a doubt, that'd be the, what's that thing called now? I can't even remember what it's called. Force of Nature. I love that item. I'm pretty sure the stats on it were like magic resist, extra HP regen, and move speed. I mean, that item was dope on like Volibear, Singed, pretty much any tank that wanted to run around lots and never die to magic damage. Mordekaiser was so funny with that, because he was meant to be like an AP burst champion when that item was around, but instead you just go against a mage and build that item and you just never die and do a ton of damage because you're Mordekaiser. You have move speed, right? So it would help you waddle around, because Mordekaiser wasn't exactly quick. So yeah, I love that setup. Next question here comes from a lone hacker. He asks, or she, I'm not really sure, if you can make your own champion, what role would your champion go? Would it be AP or AD? What abilities and weapons would he have? So I kind of answered already the abilities and weapons he would have, but I'm going to talk about the other parts. So definitely an AD champion. I much prefer AD champions over AP. And the role, probably a jungler, just so I can traverse the map and make places and stuff. I'm not really a huge fan of playing the top lane where I'm kind of on an island and need to TP places. I don't really like working a dual lane either, because most of those are, of course, supports and marksmen, and I don't really like playing those roles. If it's a mid lane assassin, I'd be pretty happy with that, but at the same time, I don't see that kind of style that I described working the mid lane, so that's kind of why I'm saying the jungle. Next question here comes from John Michael Thompson. He asks for the Q&A. Best advice for warding. Which trinket is the best for each rule? Best ward spots, etc., etc. Now, I made a conscious effort to avoid league-specific questions for this, but I think it's actually a really good question, so I'm going to answer it anyways. Essentially, what I think is the best way to look at this from is, I think pretty much everybody start with the yellow trinket. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, because I think the only option anyway, so the warding trinket, of course. If you're playing support, you should pretty much stick with that until you have your sightstone, at which point you get the sweeper, and at level 9 you get the good sweeper. For 80 carries, you should, as soon as you hit level 9, switch from the warding trinket into the blue trinket, because that blue trinket is dope. It's really, really good. For the jungle, you want to start off with the warding trinket, and if you get the green smite, then you switch into the sweeper. If you don't get the green smite, then you stick with the warding trinket till level 9, at which point you get the sweeping lens, because the sweeping lens level 9 is very good, but prior the sweeping lens sucks. Then mid lane, same thing as 80 carry. Stick with the warding trinket till you level 9, then get the blue one. And then top lane, same thing as the mid lane and 80 carry. And I think that wraps it all up. Sorry, my eyes are kind of going everywhere. I'm kind of going between looking at the face cam, looking at the question, and looking at the gameplay on the side here, all of which kind of distracting stuff, which should hopefully explain why my eyes are all over the damn place. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up that question, though. Moving on here. Mama Jama, great name, asks, do you make YouTube videos for a living, or is it a side hobby? Honestly, it's kind of gone between the two, like, several times over. Like, when I first started this in grade 11, it was just a hobby on the side. I was trying to focus on school. That didn't go down very well. In grade 12, I pretty much said, like, yeah, I don't really feel school right now. I'm just going to, like, put that on the side and do that later. So I'll focus on YouTube for the time being, which I eventually did. So it became a job at that point. So for 2 years, it was a job. And since September in 2015, so this last year, I started taking classes again. So it's kind of become a hobby again, because I want to get these classes done. But as soon as these classes are done around this spring, I should be doing this as a job again, because I just want to get these classes done and see where they can take me, whether it's university or a job or something like that. Because just having a bit of a backup, I think, is a good idea, because relying on YouTube to be my career forever, probably not a good idea. So yeah, that pretty much wraps that up. Next question here comes from, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, I'm going to try my best, Gul Ichiha, I think. What's the best advice you can give to a new player to League? I think the best piece of advice I can give is don't worry so much about score and like kills and all that. Worry about gold. If you're getting gold, you're gonna get everything else. Like, it's that simple. Like, if you have the most gold on the map, chances are you're the strongest character in the map. And if you're the strongest character in the map, you're gonna get all the kills, all the stuff, all the buffs, all the towers. I mean, everything will just unfold for you. So if you can learn to farm correctly, get those last hits if you're playing the jungle, efficiently go through your jungle and get all the camps safely and all that, and maybe make some plays, the plays will just unfold for you because you're stronger. And at that level of play, when you're new to the game, people don't really know how to look at the fight before it even happens. Like for example right here is between this me and Mundo. I mean, I'm way stronger than him, like, hands down, at this point in the game. And yeah, he's still trying to make flanking plays in my mid lane. Like, a good player would not make a flanking gank when they don't know where the jungler is, because that just put him in a really bad spot and got him punished. That's an example. So hopefully that helps. Next question here comes from Twigger Lol, a fellow YouTuber. He's a pretty cool guy. Actually, I've been playing a few games with him as of recently, since I met him. Anyways, what advice would you give aspiring content creators that you would have liked to have known when you started? Okay, I have one piece of advice, actually, that I think Twigger actually already applied this advice to his channel, so I'm not sure this will help him out, but it definitely would have helped me out back when I started. When I first started doing League videos back in 2013, I was posting 1, maybe 2 max a week, and that, while it provided my videos with a lot of views per, like, video, so my average views per video was really good, I wasn't growing as fast as I could have if I uploaded more and had a lower views per average on videos. So you kind of have to prioritize what you want more of. More total views per video or more total fans. And obviously more total fans is the way to go. So I probably should have uploaded more often is really what I'm saying, instead of pacing it out so much. So for anybody trying to make a channel go and actually blow up, get a lot of videos out, man. That's the key. Don't worry about how many views each video has. Just get a lot of videos out, because that's how you build a fan base. Next question comes from May. She asks, what made you want to start your YouTube career as a League of Legends player? My YouTube career as a League of Legends player. I'm trying to think about how best to answer this, because when I started off doing YouTube videos, I wasn't doing League. I was doing mostly Call of Duty stuff, but then I kind of moved into League because I started to like the game better. I got decent at it, so I figured, why the hell not? I'll give this a try. Because at the time, like, no one was really doing League videos. Like, there was Ankle Spankin', Sebastian was doing them, so ZZ Legendary, Cool Story Joe, and like those are like pretty much the only YouTubers I actually knew of at the time, except for like top 5 plays and stuff like that. So I never really considered those. So I think when it came to back then, I'd say I copied their stuff, because that's obviously not true. I mean, I can't copy their personality, right? So copying is probably an exaggeration, but I definitely designed my videos in a way that would be similar to what they were doing, because what they were doing was working, and it was a style I enjoyed. And I always had this theory that if I could enjoy watching my own videos, I feel like others could too. And I'm not a huge fan of watching my own videos, but I could sit through it, if that makes sense. Like, it wasn't painful for me to watch my own videos, so I figured if I could watch through it, I'm sure other people could too. And, I mean, that all worked, so that's pretty much what made me want to start, was actually just watching Ankle Spanking, I guess, and other League YouTubers like Cool Story Joe and CZ Legendary. That they kind of, I guess, laid the groundwork for what kind of design I wanted to have in my videos, which was, of course, do what they're doing, but with my own twist to it. Next question comes from Nick Ruth. This person asks, do you have a girlfriend? If yes, ever thought about playing with her? Actually, I haven't had a girlfriend for a few years now, because I've just been so focused on what I've been doing with this whole YouTube thing. And honestly, let's be honest, meeting girls through the internet, not exactly the easiest thing in the world. Not to mention, it's a little bit uncomfortable. I don't know if you guys feel that too. It is for me. So when it comes to meeting girls in person, it doesn't happen very often from home. So I have met a few women, of course, at school, but none of them really are interesting to me, unfortunately. But that's okay though. You know, one of these days, right? No worries. I mean, it's not like I haven't been with women. It's just dating, not so much. Anyways, moving on. Komeng Yang asks, when did you start to get into League? Also, was your Wukong your starting champion? I started to get into League in Season 2, so like July Season 2. And that's when I really started to enjoy the game, because prior to that, I tried it, I hated it. Also, was Wukong your starting champion? No, but it was the first champion I genuinely set out to get, I'm pretty sure. I think prior to that, I had Nunu. And then once I had 1350 RP or whatever it was for Vigar, I got Vigar. And then I got Wukong after that. And that's when I just grinded the hell out of Wukong. So that's that. Next question. Hey, Captain Monk, during your videos, I see you stopping just long enough to get an auto attack off, then start moving for your next auto attack. This is really proficient in your jungle videos. I wanted to know how you do that. Mind telling me? And this comes from Will Millard. Essentially, what it comes down to is when you're playing ranged characters especially, attack moving is really, really helpful, because a lot of these characters will attack and have a long animation after projectiles already live that causes them to stand still. So what I like to do with these characters, be it Vayne, MF, you know, what have you, is use the attack, and once you see the projectile go live, move, because it'll cancel the animation and allow you to kite away from wherever the danger is, or move, of course, towards the danger if that's what you want to do. It gives you options. With melee characters, this is a slight difference. It's very, very hard to notice, but it is there. Like if you're playing Wukong, your auto attack, by the time it does damage, you can cancel some of the animation by moving so that you can save some time. Not to mention, it keeps you, I guess, practiced on that whole thing. Because myself personally, I don't play much ranged characters. Like I normally stick to like melees, right? But practicing that still while I'm playing melee characters allows me to still be ready to play ranged characters if that comes up. Because although it's a less of a factor on melee characters, it still helps, and of course keeps you ready to play ranged characters, which is really what that comes down to. And to do so, I tend to use my spacebar for attack move. So on occasion, maybe not in this gameplay here, because of course I'm playing a melee, but you'll see us, especially in my ranged videos, like AD carry and whatnot, that I'm spamming my spacebar, which allows me to attack move whatever, or hit is whatever's nearest me. So I'll alternate between clicking behind me to retreat, and then press my spacebar to hit whatever is nearest me, and then clicking again on my on my mouse to, I'm trying to like visualize this while I'm explaining it. Click on my mouse again to retreat, and then attack again, and this alternating by like that instead of having to constantly switch where my mouse is at, right? That's obnoxious. It's just way more time efficient to do that. So that's that question. Jonathan, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, Kovarubias, asks, what recording software do you use? And if you do, what kind of editing software do you use? I use OBS to record my videos, and to edit, I use Sony Vegas Pro 10, which I've been using for years. I've gotten so used to it now, I cannot see myself using another program. But if I had to, of course, I probably could. I don't see myself doing that. Next question here comes from Marco Louis Bautista, I assume. And he's asking, what is your favorite mid laner and why? Keep up the good videos. Probably Zed. I think Fizz would be a close second. Maybe Talon would come up there as well, because I just love playing Assassins, but I think Zed is without a doubt my favorite. He's just so fun, and he's been strong for quite a while. I mean, there's been phases where Assassins weren't as good, but he's always been at least somewhat relevant to the point where you can get kills in like normals, and that's just so fun. So I like Zed a lot. Anson Lee asks, do you think you'll ever get bored of League? Well, I mean, the way of looking at this actually is I've been playing since Season 2, recording videos since Season 3, and there have been phases where I've been a little bit more bored of the game than others, but I've always been able to put out videos. Like, has there ever been a point in time where I just completely stopped putting out videos because I was bored of the game? So I think if that's evidence to anything at all, I think I might get more bored of the game at some points in time, but I'll always enjoy the game enough to put out videos. So I think that's good. Next question here comes from Ryan Tremblay, and this person asks, what got you into gaming? Nice videos, watch them all constantly, keep it up. What got me into gaming actually is actually the funniest story. If any of you are familiar with the "No, Ricky, don't look. I don't want you to be influenced by" that whole meme, which is of course with a mother and a child, and the mother's like, "Oh no, don't look at that. I don't want you to be influenced by it," and then the kid's like holding up whatever it is, or I guess indulged in whatever it is, and it's like, "No, I've seen the other side," or something like that. That's pretty much what happened with me in video games. My parents really didn't want me to play video games or have anything to do with them, but as a kid in like kindergarten. A lot of my friends, like at the time, had like Pokemon cards and all that, and I had no idea what the hell they were, but I just thought they were really cool. I thought the characters were cool, the colors and all that. I just thought it was awesome. So they would give me their Pokemon cards. I'd learn their names and all that. And next thing you know, I'm buying my own Pokemon cards. And I think like when I turned like 9, maybe 8, eventually by that point there was like Pokemon games being made. Well, actually, they were being made long before that, but that's when my friends actually started playing them, and they'd bring their Game Boys to school, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. So my 10th birthday, I finally convinced my parents to give me a Game Boy, and from there, I had Pokemon Red, and I was just in heaven, man. Pokemon Red at the time was pretty good. Pokemon Fire Red, I should say. It wasn't Red, it was Fire Red. But yeah, like ever since then, I've been a gamer. Like, there's no doubt about that in my mind. I played Pokemon for years. Then I got into Call of Duty. Here we are with the League. I mean, that's just... There's been some other games on the side, but those are like the big 3, I would say, I've been into. Moving on to the next question, though. Jude Marvin Oletta asks, if you're being asked by a girl what type of girl you prefer, what will you answer? Alright, I'll be honest. I don't really have a specific type that is, like, stand out, I guess. But I'm normally pretty, like... I find, like, if the girl's attractive, I'm normally pretty okay with it, if that makes sense. Like, if a girl's attractive, but she's, like, from a certain race or something like that, it's not like I'm gonna say, like, no, she's not attractive because she's, you know, white, for example, right? I'm not gonna say that, but, or I'm not even gonna think that. But if a girl has, like, dark brown hair and green eyes, like, green eyes being the big part, like, she's got my attention. I'll say that much. Green eyes are, like, the best. I'll say that for sure. Next question here. Punchaxian, I think is how you pronounce that, asks, are you going to make other stuff for your channel that aren't full commentary gameplays? If you don't, or I don't mind if you aren't. Obviously, I'm going to stick to this, I think. I mean, I've been doing it for years. It's been working for me. I've been enjoying it. So I'm definitely going to be focusing mostly on these commentated gameplays like this. But I also want to add in some other stuff that might be post-gameplay commentaries or more analytical stuff. One example of this that I will dive into a little bit, and I know there's a question later on that asks about this, is I want to do a video that, maybe it's a series, maybe it's just one video, that literally specifies the outlines of what it is to win League of Legends and how to do so based on your team composition. So of course this would outline like split pushing, team fighting, objective control, sieging, things like that, and how to actually do those things. Because I've noticed a lot of people, like Diamond, like High Diamond, and even like Master, genuinely don't know how to win the game because of their team comp. They just play the game and happen to be really talented mechanically, but have no idea the strategy side of the game. And I just find that really, really quite funny. So for those of you who are not to that stage and not that high elo, but still want to learn the strategy side of the league, that's where I would come in. So I think that'd be a really cool video to do. That's pretty much answers that question, I'm pretty sure. Next one here comes from Camden Warburton, and he asks, what province do you live in Canada? If Alberta, me too. I'm actually in British Columbia, so we're basically neighbors in a way, because Alberta, of course, is right next to British Columbia. So yeah, British Columbia is right on the west coast, the southern west coast, I should say, so it's not like Yukon or Alaska, which is technically a state. Moving on here, Maurice Shorter. Hey Monk, what champion do you feel is in need of a complete overhaul or a rework or deletion, and why? Well, deletion, obviously Teemo. I mean, let's just be honest, Teemo needs to be removed. I mean, the champion's just too good. Jokes aside, though, the champion I would honestly like to see get a rework the most is probably Ezreal. He's been seeing quite a lot of play recently, and he's actually in a really good spot, like meta-wise, but at the same time, I just feel like the champion's W is just like the biggest mess ever. I mean, let me just spell this out. He's AD, his Q is great, his E is great, his ultimate's fine. He's great. His W, it provides an attack speed steroid and a sliver of damage. I mean, what? What? Like, what is that? Like, no, that's crap. Like, no, please. If he's AP, I mean, his kit's fine, but he's got no wave clear, so he can't be a mage. So, yeah, either way, he's kind of screwed. I don't know, it just seems weird. So I'd like to see them rework his kit a little bit, probably keep his Q and his E and alt more or less the same, maybe tweak some numbers to balance it out, but give his W like consistent use. You know what I mean? Regardless of whether he's AP or AD. Because right now his E, or not his E, sorry, his W is just so weird. I don't know why. It wouldn't be a massive rework, but just some changes to his W would make him a lot less weird for me to play. He just feels awkward. That's just my opinion, at least. Moving on, next question here comes from, oh man, this is going to be a tough one to pronounce. I'm sorry about this, by the way. Muhammadu Salif, I think is how you pronounce that. Why don't you show yourself when playing like ankle? I want to see your reactions. Lol. Okay, well, the big reason for that is because normally when I'm recording, it's in the afternoon or like evening after a long school day, and I don't want to worry about looking good and all that. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to worry about that. And I don't have a green screen either, which adds on to it. I'm just using my face cam, and you guys can see my bedroom behind me and all that. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of using my face cam. It just adds to the whole, I guess, stress of recording, which I've gotten pretty used to. But I don't want to add on other things to it, so that's why I'm using it in this video, of course, because I'm not all doing this live. The gameplay was recorded a few days ago, and I'm recording the face cam separately, so it's not as difficult to do. But if I had to worry about the gameplay recording, my voice recording, and the face cam, I mean, that's a lot. That's something I don't think I could handle that. Ankle spanking obviously could. Maybe there'll come a day where I'll change my mind. For the time being, I'm pretty comfortable with this setup, and on occasion, and you know, honestly, maybe I'll try to use my face cam more often. Maybe I'll try and do that. But for the time being, I'm pretty comfortable with the way things are. And, of course, this is up for reconsideration. For the time being, I'm going to stick with the setup I've got now. Moving on, Darren Tan asks, hey, Monk, who do you think is a better player, you or Ankle Spankin'? I think me and Ankle Spankin' are actually pretty damn similar as far as, like, total skill. But I think in some ways I'm better, and in other ways he's better. His 80 carry play is, like, head and shoulders above mine. Like, if you guys want to watch 80 carry videos and learn how to play 80 carry, definitely watch his videos over mine, because he makes the role a lot more fun, for starters. And second of all, he's just better at it. But when it comes to, like, jungling, for example, I know for a fact my jungling is better than Ankles. And that's, of course, not, you know, any disrespect, of course. But I know my strengths, and he knows his, right? I'm saying he's a better 80 carry. I think I'm a better jungler than he is. When it comes to solo lanes, I think his mid lane play might be better than mine. If not, we're very, very close. With top lane, I know for a fact he hates the role. So I'm pretty sure I'm better than him at top lane, because I don't mind playing top lane, so chances are if I'm enjoying it more, maybe I'm better at it than he is, and he's struggling with it more, and that's why he doesn't like it. And with the support, he's probably better than I with support as well, but I don't really know because neither of us really like play support that often, so it's kind of hard to judge. But overall, I think him and I are pretty damn similar. I mean, we're basically the same elo in ranked at least, so I'm pretty sure him and I are pretty damn similar. Next question here comes from Matthew Young. What is your real name? My real name is Adam. I'm pretty sure I've answered that one before, but I guess this guy didn't know, and so for those of you who don't know, there you go. The next question here comes from Tana Hellsham. This is a big one, actually. Hey, dude, I've been watching a lot of your League videos lately, have picked up some good gameplay and strategy tips from you. If I had a question to ask, it would be, as an average player trying to advance into mega super OP mode, what would be a couple of advanced tips to strategy? What things should I be focusing on to master in terms of strategy? Okay, well, I think the big one for this one is I think it's really, really, really important for you to look at your team composition and think about your win conditions. A lot of players don't do this. They just play the same strategy every single game. Think about what your team comp is, think what your team comp strengths are, compare that to your opponents, and then figure out a strategy, whether it's split pushing, team fighting, objective control, sieging, etc. And it looks like that's all the time I have for you guys, so hopefully you guys enjoyed these questions and the answers, of course. And I'll see you all in the next one. Make sure to subscribe and all that for more videos, and peace out.